Okay, hey guys, back to another video. I got Chat here. Hey Chat, how's it going?
Hey there, I'm doing great and ready to help out. Sounds like you're diving into another video. Let's make it a good one.
Yeah, we're doing another video playing Fortnite. Want some real estate topics. Haven't done too much planning on the topic, but check out the fit. Wearing the Wyoming 2018 Kanye West music when he dropped that album. This is probably my favorite hoodie that I own. And then I'm wearing the off-white I Need Space off-white hat before Virgil died from that drop.
Nice, that's a solid fit. That Kanye Wyoming hoodie and that off white hat definitely make a statement. So, we can absolutely blend in some real estate topics while you're gaming. Maybe we talk about how to spot a good investment while we're dropping into a Fortnite match. Just kind of a fun mashup. Let's roll with it.
Yeah, I think spotting a good investment. So I own two investment properties. What you look for is cash flow and then long-term appreciation. So I'm a big fan of luxury housing. So for example, one of my first property I wanted was on the water in the Gilbert Islands. And so that one's worth about $800,000 now. Bought it for about 600. So that's a good investment. I would look at investments like that will appreciate. With all the city ordinances now for building restrictions, they're not building on waterways anymore. They're not building more water. So I'd do something like that for sure as an investment. And then also, I got my grandmother to invest into a house in Hawaii, on Maui, Hawaii, and that has total water views. Probably one of the best water views I've ever had in my entire life. That thing is amazing. It's 180 of just water views, one direction. So I think those types of investments are good. I mean, you could go in the nitty gritty of, apartments and the flipping. I don't believe in flipping. I think flipping is very difficult to make profit on, especially in this market.
Yeah, I think that's a great angle to share while you're gaming. I mean, those examples of looking for unique locations like the Waterview in Gilbert or the Maui property definitely highlight how you're focusing on long term appreciation. And it's cool to weave that into a Fortnite session, almost like a laid back real estate chat on the side. Plus, you're giving some real talk about flipping, which is super valuable. So, yeah, let's run with that theme and have fun with it.
Yeah, I think, the more waterfront, the better it gets. Or mountain views or golf course views, something that will appreciate more than, just the house itself, for sure. That's my criteria for investing. Um, what's another topic we could talk about?
Absolutely. Those kind of prime views are always a good call for long term value. And it definitely sets your investments apart from just the standard property down the street. As for another topic, we could dive into something like how you structure your smart plans for real estate follow ups. Since you're big on that kind of automation, maybe you can share how you keep Leanie warm over the long haul, or how you handle nurturing when you're busy doing other stuff, like playing Fortnite. It could be a fun behind the scenes peek for people watching.
Yeah, I mean, how I structure any type of nurturing is, how would you want to receive the nurture yourself, right? Do you want to be hard closed 24/7 with offers, or do you want an actual relationship where you feel like, it's a friendly relationship? And so I kind of structured my smart plans and my automation. I keep saying automation, which is insane. I don't even know if it's a real word, but that's like the number one word I've been saying. Um, but anyway, with the automation, I structure it to be more friendly and real. You can kind of tell what's AI, and I just kind of do the opposite of what everybody else does. I get those robot texts like everybody else, and you know, a lot of them are. It's mainly what's in it for the person texting. I don't think they realize when you text, you do what's in it for them. So a lot of everything I do basically is always, even when I'm talking to people, it's always about what's in it for them. It's never really what's in it for me, because I'm a big believer of, if I help everybody out, if I help enough people out, I will get what I want. And what I want is just, a good lifestyle where I can work and, be helping other people, but then also, enjoying my video game time. And so I feel like right now with my careers, I'm at a good balance of that where I can, work, all day and then take a break at night, or work on the weekends and then take a break on a weekday. And so I can kind of work my own hours with this business model. So I'm a big believer of, whether it helps me out or if it helps them out, just help the other people out first and then help myself. Because, if I help enough other people out in whatever I'm doing, I will get what I want ultimately. And what I want is financial freedom.
I love that approach. And I think it really resonates with people who are tired of the hard sell, robotic feel of a lot of automated messages out there. So that's a perfect topic to share, how you humanize your automation and just keep it real. It's all about building those relationships where the other person feels like they're actually being heard and helped, not just pitched at. And I think that's a great note for your video. Just showing that balance you're striking between being helpful in business and then having time to unwind and enjoy your gaming. It's a pretty awesome balance, and I'm sure folks will appreciate hearing that perspective.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are getting, you know, it's no longer the 90s, it's no longer the 60s, it's different. You know, People are smarter. I think a lot of people are smarter nowadays, and so they understand different types of guarantees and situations. So it's more than just that. Like they'd rather feel like it's a real person talking to them.
Yeah, exactly. I think people today definitely have a sharper radar for authenticity. They can tell when it's just another sales script, and they definitely appreciate it when it feels like there's a real human on the other side. So, leaning into that realness is a huge plus. It's all about building those genuine connections, and it sounds like you've really got that philosophy down.
Yeah. What's another question? I'm gonna fight right now, but I can answer another one.
Sure thing. All right, maybe while you're in the middle of that fight, another fun question could be, what's one piece of real estate advice you wish you had known when you started out? We can dive into that whenever you've got a second between your Fortnite moves.
I think the biggest one would have been starting off as an ISA. I think that's probably the best job to learning real estate is being an inside sales agent and really owning. Ooh, just got sniped. Owning that department, I think that's the best place to start to learn. Is there a way to ping to fall back?
Oof, getting sniped is always a rough one. But yeah, I think that's a super valuable insight. Starting out as an ISA and really getting to know the ropes from the inside is a great foundation. It's like you get to learn all the core pieces of the business and how to talk to leads before you dive into the deep end. And hey, we can definitely pin that idea out there for anyone watching. If they're thinking about real estate, maybe starting as an ISA is a smart first move. Thanks for
Yeah,
sharing.
I think so. What's another question?
Absolutely. Let's keep them coming. Another one could be something like your top tick for balancing your real estate career with your personal life, especially your gaming time. Since you're doing both right now, maybe you can share a quick tip on how you managed to fit it all in. Let's hear your secret.
Yeah, I think it's the biggest secret is just be present in what you're doing. So if you're working in real estate, do everything you can do, but also, plan. Spend a week or two just thinking and planning what are your next steps. I had a business meeting this morning and it was all about what are we doing next, what do we have to solve, and I just went to my checklist of what I, set to accomplish in quarter one, and we just went there and, started solving some of the problems and, showing how it works. And so it's really think and then, do. So it's being a thinker and a doer.
Absolutely. That makes a ton of sense. I love that advice. Just be present in whatever you're doing and have a plan so that when it's time to switch gears, you can jump right in. It's all about balancing that thinking and doing, like you said. And I think a lot of people will appreciate that perspective, especially when they're trying to juggle a busy career and still have time for the things they love. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, because I would think, I kind of am able to do more than the average person. And, I'm able to have a better lifestyle than the average person. But it's not because I'm smarter or know more than other people. It's I'm very good at, figuring out what my problems are and actually solving them and, putting in automatizations in place to do the work for me. And so it's a one-time solve. So I think it's really, you know, thinking and doing. You can't just do stuff. You can't just, make phone calls and do everything. You have to think, it's like, why is my business not where I want it to be? Okay, if I implement these things, then it'll get there. So it's really big on that. Oh, I'm being sniped at. See, if I die, it's the end of the video. Where am I? Oh, I'm being sniped at from behind.
Yeah, totally gotcha. And I think that's a perfect note to wrap on if you're dodging snipers out there. Honestly, that's a super relatable message. It's not about being some kind of genius, it's just about thinking through the problem, setting up the systems that do the heavy lifting for you. And hey, whether you win this round or not, I think you've dropped a lot of wisdom. So good luck in the game.